your radical left lunatics will try and make it sound like the worst thing that's ever happened.
It includes some of Trump's greatest hits like sweeping raids and mass deportations, alongside fresh horrors.
And you put her on a bus, and it ends up on the front page of every newspaper. It makes it a lot harder.
Ever wondered what happens when you mix a reality TV star, the presidency, and a complete lack of human empathy? Spoiler alert, you get a plan to deport kids with serial numbers. Let's dive into Colbert's hilarious takedown of Trump's latest immigration brain fart. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. You said that Trump's wall was a horrible idea? People, hold on to your MAGA hats. Our chief would-be deporter has devised a plan that turns his border wall into a picket fence. Sounds like a lost baggage label for kids. Yes, it is that absurd. The most enticing thing about Trump's most recent beautiful plan is a moldy Big Mac. He's conjuring up a nightmare of mass deportation that would make even the most ardent bigots wince. What's the best thing then? He wants to perform his dirty task with the National Guard. After all, what better way to proclaim the land of the free than to have our troops act as immigration bouncers? But there's still more. Trump came up with the wonderful concept of giving kids serial numbers just like merchandise at a yard sale. Colbert's analogy of treating kids like misplaced luggage at the airport really hit the mark. Donnie, what comes next? Perhaps it's time to start microchipping toddlers and barcoding infants' butts? Let's now discuss logistics. There are only roughly 41,500 beds available at ICE annually. Considering there are an estimated 11 million undocumented people in the US, that's like attempting to fit an elephant into a Mini Cooper. However, with alternative facts, who needs arithmetic? And here's the thing, apprehending undocumented immigrants isn't like having a backyard cops and robbers game. It requires extensive paperwork and meticulous planning. However, it seems to be as simple as playing a video game in Trump's universe. You simply push a button and presto, the bad hombres all go. This is where things become pretty complicated.
How is that practically possible? Because a lot of the millions of people have had children here who are American citizens.
If you take a young woman with two beautiful children and you put her on a bus and it ends up on the front page of every newspaper, it makes it a lot harder.
Trump's proposal utterly disregards people's right to apply for asylum. It seems as though he disregarded the words, "Give me your tired, your poor," that are located at the base of the Statue of Liberty. Whoa, he probably believes that to be false information. Not to mention the nations to which these individuals would be returned. It appears that not everyone is in favor of taking in large numbers of deportees via plane. It appears as though other nations have immigration laws of their own. I realize it's shocking. You think deporting children is merely a math exercise? Rethink your thoughts. Not only is Trump's grand scheme callous, it's a farce of mistakes that would make the Three Stooges wince. How serious could it be? To put it mildly, it makes his bankrupt casinos appear like a wise financial decision. Let's now discuss the less than humorous aspects of this insane policy of mass deportations. Attempt to gather millions of people more quickly than you can pronounce kofif. If the cats were humans with rights, families, and lives, it would be similar to herding cats. Remember that these are actual people with real experiences and real emotions, not simply numbers, who we are discussing. It seems that Trump's concept of family planning involves strategizing the dissolution of families, attempting to figure out how to cram as many deportees into those ICE detention cells is like to him playing a perverse game of human Tetris. Warning, they are not fitting. Comparable to attempting to fit an elephant into a Mini Cooper, it is not only unfeasible, but also extremely harsh.
You put one wrong person onto a bus or onto an airplane, and your radical left lunatics will try and make it sound like the worst thing that's ever happened.
Holds on to power at all costs, would declare martial law to stop an imaginary evil cabal, plans to put people in camps, and says Hitler had some good ideas.
Let's also discuss the emotional toll that these families are bearing. Imagine this. Young Timmy is thrilled to inform his mother that he received an A on his math test when he gets home from school. But whoa! While he was learning long division, Mom was deported. More trauma than Trump's spray tan on a white-collar worker stays with a child. But there's still more. This goes beyond the communities of immigrants. We would all be impacted by this steaming mess of a scheme. Who will harvest our fruits and vegetables, you ask? Who will work at our restaurants as staff? Who will fill all those positions that supporters of Trump say they desire but never bother to apply for? Not to be overlooked is the price. Trump's proposal is costly, disorganized, and bad for everyone. It's like attempting to fix a faulty faucet by drowning your home. Folks, we're talking about billions of dollars here. That's money that could go toward education, healthcare, or even the purchase of an enormous gold statue of President Trump. I don't know, something helpful, you know? The worst part, though, is that experts warn that the entire plan may backfire. It seems like Trump is attempting to solve a Rubik's Cube by slamming a hammer into it. Even if you've broken the cube, it's still possible that all the colors will wind up on the same side. This proposal may increase, not decrease, the amount of undocumented immigration. Comparable like telling someone not to think about pink elephants. All of a sudden, that's all they can't get off their minds. Imagine now that an immigration strategy doesn't sound like a script that was turned down for Die Hard 6 Deport Harder. Colbert is preparing some substitutes that are less messy than Trump's taco bowl tweets and more American than apple pie. Are you prepared to learn how to address immigration without destroying the nation? To be honest, Trump's idea is about as useful as trying to mend a watch with a sledgehammer. But worry not, people. Colbert is providing this circus with much-needed sanity. He is offering some ideas for immigration reform that don't call for a budget for special effects in Hollywood or a degree in cattle branding. First, how about we establish a citizenship road that is earned? People, this isn't rocket science. We are discussing a system that enables industrious people who have made significant contributions to our nation to become citizens of the United States. Crazy, huh? People seem to be treated more like, well, people. And here's the thing, we can protect our borders without using the National Guard to operate as Trump's personal goon squad.
It may be a giant step down the road to totalitarianism, but on the bright side, no Crocs. It includes some of Trump's greatest hits like sweeping raids and mass deportations alongside fresh horrors.
So we're going to look at it very closely. The way you phrase it is exactly right.
It is almost as if we can treat the border like a nightclub with a very tight dress code, or at least leverage technology and clever procedures, but there's still more. Colbert advises us to put more emphasis on compassion than fear. I realize that the lock 'em up and throw away the key crowd finds this revolutionary. But hear me out. What if, rather than treating immigrants like misplaced luggage, we treated them like people? But how will we keep track of everyone without Trump's genius serial number system? You may be asking yourself now. Now fasten your seatbelt, sweetheart, because I have a crazy idea. We employ the current legal system. It may not be as thrilling as Trump's Sharpie and prayer approach, but it could still be effective. The best part is that these substitutes genuinely reflect American ideals. You know, those annoying little things like human dignity, justice, and freedom. It's almost as if we can find solutions to issues without becoming the bad guys in a young adult dystopian book. However, let's use moderation and use common sense. Where's the drama in that? After all, Trump's proposal sounds more like a lavish action film that ran out of story midway through production. Colbert's substitutes? They resemble a heartwarming documentary about genuine interpersonal harmony. But how will we strike fear into the hearts of hardworking families just trying to make a better life for themselves, is what you may be wondering, and I understand. I apologize for the disappointment, but these options prioritize problem fixing over creating new ones. I understand that those who say, chaos is my middle name, may find it difficult to accept. The shocking thing is that these solutions might possibly be effective. Rather than tinkering about with people's lives, we could design a system that is just, compassionate, and doesn't take a master's degree in sophisticated logistics to operate. It almost seems that treating people with respect would produce greater results. Who was aware? What's the best thing then? We can accomplish all of this without making America into a terrible Hunger Games sequel, districts, tributes, and most assuredly, Trump volunteering to serve as a tribute are unnecessary. Though, let's be honest, that may be entertaining. And that's it for now, people. Colbert's comedy masterclass on how to deal with immigration without going insane or becoming less human. It turns out that complex problems can be solved without the use of a Sharpie, a cattle prod, or a total disdain for human rights. Who would have guessed?